So here's the thing. It is my opinion that contests in the audio space, especially on radio, are pathetic. Here's how it works. You have 1 in a million chance of winning something. You have 999,999 chances in a million of losing. And that we call an attraction to listen, an incentive to listen. Overwhelming chance to lose means it's an incentive to listen. It makes no sense. There's a different way. There's a better way. And this guy right here, Ryan Cummins, has the key to it. Ryan Cummins is the co-founder, co-CEO of Omaze, a cause marketplace that raises money and awareness for charity by offering the chance to win once-in-a-lifetime experiences. If you unpack all those words, there's an important meaning in there. In just 2 years, Omaze has disrupted traditional models of fundraising and raised millions for charity through campaigns ranging from the chance to appear in Star Wars Episode 7, to riding in a tank and crushing a car with Arnold Schwarzenegger, to my favorite experience ever, get ready for this, the chance to fly to LA and raise a glass with George Clooney, whereupon he will compliment you for 45 seconds straight.
While staring into your eyes.
While staring into your eyes, ladies. I hate those eyes. Let me give you a flavor for what Omaze is and what Omaze does.
Hi, honey bunnies. Quick question. Have you had the best night of your life ever on Earth yet? Well, you could. With me. For a good cause. Here's the deal. You donate $10 or more for a chance to win the RDJ experience. I correspondingly fly you and a friend out to LA, put you up in a 4-star hotel, and proceed to awesome the crap out of you. I'm talking indoor skydiving, helicopter tour, maybe a pit stop at Randy's Donuts. After riding your sugar high all the way to a fitting for a tux or gown, we're gonna meet up for a little pre-premiere caviar. One of those could be in your mouth. We'll giggle, chat, take pictures, perhaps even engage in a battle of wits. Kidding, or am I? Round about sunset, we make a grand entrance at the venue. You walk the red carpet, and then you become one of the first people on Earth to see Avengers: Age of Ultron. Even if you don't win, you still get all kinds of swag depending on your donation level. Plus, all proceeds go toward funding Julia's House. This place is amazing. It's a hospice center for children with terminal illnesses. It's a win-win. Go to omaze.com/RDJ for your chance to win. That's OMAZE.com/RDJ. And lastly, to make this entirely irresistible, there's a button. Click on this. Give yourself a chance at a night you'll never forget. But remember, you don't have a chance at this unforgettable night if you don't sign up and donate. I don't remember where the button is. I forgot. Don't be like me. Actually, be like me and sign up for this unforgettable night that won't happen if you don't remember. It wasn't bad, that last take, but it was 16 and a half minutes. Are people going to appreciate that when you post it?
Please welcome Ryan Cummins. That's amazing, Ryan.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow, there's so much there, okay? You've got contest mechanics, you've got Kickstarter mechanics, you've got charity, you've got different levels of participation, you've got, the thing that strikes me about it is that unlike a typical contest where one person wins and everybody else loses for participating, here everybody wins, either because they actually get something at a Kickstarter type level or because the charity is ultimately the beneficiary. I mean, talk to me about what the pieces of Omaze are and how Omaze works.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, and thank you, Mark, for having me. I think the easiest way to sort of describe how Omaze works is to share our origin story very quickly. So I have a great co-founder, a guy named Matt Polson. Matt and I were best friends at Stanford, and we became best friends because we both share this passion for storytelling. And I think of the things that you listed, the thing that's really at the root of Omaze, the DNA of Omaze, is our storytelling. We have a higher purpose, which is we serve world changers, and we do that through storytelling and technology. And so storytelling brought Matt and I down to LA and got us involved in cause, content, and social impact. And we're very grateful and fortunate to have been in a number of different large campaigns all around social impact. So we were the first directors on Live Earth, which was the largest concert ever thrown back in 2007 in 7 major cities around the world on the same day. We had a chance to work very early on a project called 10 by 10, which later became Girl Rising, a documentary about educating girls in the developing world that was sponsored by Intel, Queen Raina of Jordan, and Oprah. We spent a year basically interviewing a couple hundred Nobel Prize winners, MacArthur Genius Grant recipients, Pulitzers, a lot of what has not become a podcast, but a lot of great material there that should have been a podcast. And then
it can be after today.
There we go. Yeah.
We can make that happen for you, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And then most recently, we were executive producers of Decade of Difference, which was the Clinton Foundation's 10-year anniversary globally televised event. So point of my rattling those off is that how does that take us to Omaze? Well, we'd been working on all these things, and we saw that there was a pattern emerging. And that was that with every one of these cause campaigns, we were raising a lot of awareness, but we weren't creating the level of impact that we were setting out to. And when we took a survey of the entire landscape of cause content, we saw that this was something very endemic to the space. And we were extremely passionate storytellers. We wanted to pursue this as a career. We saw that it was easy to create awareness, a little bit more difficult to create lifetime donors and people that were supporting with a model that could grow and scale and have a sustainable revenue stream to it. So short of having that, we did what two guys ending their 20s naturally do. You go back to business school. And we basically spent 2 years surrounding ourselves with people that we knew were far brighter than we were when it came to business, and trying to learn from the for-profit model and see how we could take that model and bring it over to the nonprofit sector. While we were there, we went to a charity gala hosted by Magic Johnson, honoring the Boys and Girls Club of America. I'm sure many of you guys have been to these sort of, quote-unquote rubber chicken dinners. And Matt and I, you have to understand, Matt and I are lifelong Magic fans. So half the reason we were there was that we were big supporters of the Boys and Girls Club. The other half is we just wanted to see Magic Johnson, this legend. And he stands up to auction off the chance to hang out with him and go to a Lakers game. And I'm sure you guys, on radio and podcasts are familiar with these types of auctions. It's a chance to hang out with Magic Johnson, sit courtside, shoot some hoops. And us being lifelong fans wanted nothing more than to participate in this. The auction kicks off, our hands go up, $100. Okay, that's more than 10, but we're up. $500. All right, we're big fans, so we keep our hands up. Knowing that we're living off student loans. $1,000, that's half our rent for the month. Hands drop down. $5,000, smiles turn to frowns. $10,000, heads drop, and ultimately it cleared for $15,000. So we were driving home that night, and we were incredibly frustrated because we were lifelong fans, and we knew that sort of insider baseball here, we knew that the guy in the room that bought that was not a Magic Johnson fan. And so that was just like a little bit more salt on the wound, right? But we also thought, here's a global icon, a guy who's a hero to millions, who stands for so much more than just basketball. And he's leveraging his time for the Boys and Girls Club of America. And he should be raising so much more than $15,000. But also, so many more people should be able to participate in that than just those 200 people in the room. And that's really where we came up with this idea for Omaze. What if for $10, anybody had the chance to win one of these once-in-a-lifetime experiences? You'd get so much more money for the causes and raise so much more awareness for these charities. And everybody wins. So that was really where the idea was born.
Everybody wins is the key to that.
Yeah.
Now, just explain for the technicians in the room how Omaze is not an illegal lottery.
Yeah, so it's not a lottery, it's not a raffle. Technically, it's a sweepstakes, so it works like a raffle. You can donate $10, you get chances to win. If you donate, when you donate more, you get additional chances to win. You can enter through alternative means, which is why it's democratized to the masses. But what we see is that because of the charitable element, because people know that they're doing this first and foremost for that delightful sugar, which is that they get to have an incredible chance of an incredible experience. But then there's that really wonderful medicine on the other side, which is that they're doing good in the world. People like to donate, and they like to support, and they like to share, and they like to talk about it, and they like to feel like they are a part of this thing. And that's the case for our donors and fans and supporters. That's the case for our influencers and celebrities who suddenly are making 5 to 20 times what they do through these traditional models.
Traditional model being what? Like an auction? Regular auction
or
something? Okay.
And so, so as an example, 3 experiences that we did, you mentioned a couple of them, the chance to ride in a tank and crush things with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the chance to, our first George Clooney event was the chance to go on a hot date with George Clooney, you walk the red carpet. This was pre-Amal, so you can know that he was behaving, and go to Monuments Men. We did the chance to attend the finale of Breaking Bad, right? So at auction, in a really, really good room, that would usually make 5, 10, 15, maybe up to sort of 50, 75, $100,000 tops. If that's a really, you're loading the room and you're preloading it with people that want to donate, right? And through Omaze, and it's usually only available to those people in the room. Through Omaze, we put those online. We leveraged our storytelling to create exciting videos around those opportunities, and they raised $1.1, $1.2, and $1.7 million for their respective causes. For George Clooney was supporting Satellite Sentinel Project, which is a really wonderful cause helping end genocide. We had Breaking Bad was supporting, Aaron Paul was supporting Kind Campaign, an anti-bullying campaign, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was supporting After School All-Stars, a tremendous organization that helps empower kids with after-school activities.
So what's the key to landing partners like those?
Early on, a tremendous amount of hustle. Matt and I had been in this space for quite some time. We'd built relationships over the better part of a decade. But this was still a brand new model when we started. We launched it in September of 2012. I have very, very clear memories of people, our friends, our family, investors, all asking, are people going to think that this is a scam? Is it going to raise any money? Would a celebrity ever lend their time to something like this? Would a cause even want to get involved in something like this? I mean, here's an organization that you want to support. Are they going to want to support you supporting them? And early on, it did not go well. We spent the better part of 8 months flailing. We believed in it, but our experiences, we just didn't have the recipe down. And so our first experience was the chance to visit the set of Cupcake Wars. Surprised that didn't make more money. Wonderful show, by the way.
Made a lot of cupcakes.
Yeah, and our friend Justin, incredible host. But we just didn't have the recipe down. We didn't have the storytelling that we grew up on and that we did so well. We just didn't have that part down. We didn't have the technology, the site. But we kept iterating and we kept working on these. And we went from Cupcake Wars to another experience that didn't raise a lot of money, but that I still to this day love, the chance to play a game of Risk against 4-star General Anthony Zinni. Great experience, great experience. Turns out Anthony Zinni does not have a big social following, at least through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. But then we started doing bigger and bigger experiences. We did, a daily show with Jon Stewart, and that raised $60,000 back when our site wasn't even anywhere near what it is now. We hadn't made those investments. And we did a Lincoln Park experience that made $100,000. And we did an ESPN experience. I saw someone from ESPN's in the room. Our first one raised over $200,000. And then we did the Breaking Bad, and that raised 1.7. And we thought, okay, all these pieces are coming together. And since then, when we've repeated some of those early experiences, our last Jon Stewart experience raised over $2 million.
Wow. So
the model is working. People are enjoying it, and we're having a ton of fun.
Can you describe the recipe? You've alluded to it, but I mean, what you've iterated over time. You said you've iterated to what? What is the recipe?
So the first thing is I have a great partner, and so he and I soundboard everything we always have. We share a very similar vision, which is that higher purpose. We serve world changers. We chose those words very carefully because we didn't want to just be a new hot commodity out on the market. We didn't want to be a trick. We wanted to really build something that would sustain itself over time. And so having that higher purpose to always guide us was important. Our mission is to build a community that leverages the power of storytelling and technology to transform lives. And so that goes into every experience that we build. But then when you get into the nitty-gritty of it, we have one of the, and I say this with all humility, I'm very, very fortunate, Matt and I are fortunate, we have one of the most creative teams, I think, in the world. We're now over 60 people, and boy, do these folks come to work every single day and just charge us up. They're so excited, they're so enthusiastic, they're so passionate, they're so motivated, and that's just as much our folks in the engineering department as that is our folks in the partnerships, as that is marketing to merchant ops. These are people who love the fact that we have an exciting business model that's working very well, but that's also really affecting a lot of change in the world at a visible level. When Robert Downey Jr. did that experience there, he got asked to do that because a charity called Julia's House in the UK, which is a hospice center for kids, wanted to build a second center so that they could provide these families, both the kids who want to be able to live a dignified life for the time that they have, but as well as their parents who sometimes only get 2 hours of sleep a night, their siblings who are 5, 6, 7 years old and have no idea why they're dealing with this on an ongoing basis because they're just learning about life for the first time themselves. They wanted to build a second center so that they could provide, and they needed to raise $1.75 million to do that. So Robert Downey Jr., who's just, my gosh, a beautiful specimen of a human being, so passionate, so creative, so energetic, and really cares about the causes that he gets behind. In 5 weeks, he ended up raising over $2 million, $2.2 million. And they've now locked down a brand new hospice center. They've just signed, Julius House has just signed a 999-year lease for that hospice center. Wow. And, untold families are going to be positively impacted by that for years to come. So that's what gets us going every single day, and that's the recipe.
You talked about the creativity of your team. It's well deserved.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Not enough of that out there. Where does your team, how do they develop these ideas? I mean, where do these ideas, some of which are just crazy, come from? Crazy in a good way.
Yeah. Well, we've developed a model over time that it started early on. We had a thing very, very early on where we said it had to be inspirational. It had to be icy. It had to be inspirational. It had to be creative. It had to be educational, and it had to be empowering. And at least 3 of those 4 things, and it couldn't drop. And that started keeping us away from certain experiences that we might have done early on just because we got a partnership. But that model has since evolved. We've spent a tremendous amount of time building the values at our company, and then when we've shared those values and when our employees have really taken on those values as their own, we sit down for a creative session, and with those sort of guiding values, they say, all right, how are we just going to go blow people's hair back? How are we going to go out there and do something that they have not heard of before, that they would not be expecting, that gets them excited and at the same time puts a smile on their face and aligns itself with this cause? And you guys are, everyone here is an audio. When you're dealing with audio, you don't have the visual that suddenly gives those fireworks. So the way in which you use language really matters. Every word matters. Sometimes that means fewer words. Sometimes that means drawing a story out. Sometimes that means putting the excitement first and then the medicine and then the excitement. It means a number of different things at different times. And we care a tremendous amount both about making sure that when someone hears that experience for the very first time, do you want to go live the best day of your life with Robert Downey Jr.? You go, all right, well, what's that mean? And then you find out, all right, you're going to go indoor skydiving, and you're going to take a helicopter ride over the Hollywood Boulevard sign, and you're going to get suited up for a tux. And then he's going to meet you, and he's going to do a caviar toast. And then you're going to go ride in his motorcade to the premiere of Avengers, and by the way, there's an after party. That sounds like a ton of fun. All right, I think I might want to invest in that. Oh, wait, I'm not investing because I'm donating money to basically support this hospice center for kids. And all of those elements come together, and how do you lose? If it was us, if it was anyone else out there, this model was going to come about at some point in time. We're fortunate that we were there and we're able to piece these things together, but the model needs to be out there. And we need people like you guys, just so you know. The reason why I come to something like this is not to just share the story of Omaze, it's because we need people in radio to take on this model. You guys have an extremely powerful medium to connect with people. When you see people who've decided that they're going to spend 30 additional minutes in their driveway before they go inside to their house at the end of the day because they don't want anything to interrupt this podcast that they're listening to, that's a testament to your medium. And we need people who have that level of engagement with followers to take on this type of model, because these experiences are, one, they're exciting for the winner. They're exciting for the community. We always feel as though the winner is an ambassador on behalf of that community, and everybody gets to participate in the experience. But they're changing the world. And I'm not speaking, I like to think that Omaze is, but I'm speaking on behalf of all of these charities. We really are just serving charities, and we want as many people as possible who have influence to be able to do that as well.
Ryan, comments? I have nothing to add. Thank you so much for everything you do and for being here, Ryan. I really appreciate it. Thank you.